All right, so I want to just talk about being a content creator, and I'm going to probably do a whole series on this. I don't know how many videos that's going to be, but just thinking about being a content creator and really sort of coming to terms with what that phrase means, what that title means for me, and more specifically, what it means for you. Are you a content creator because you're just super passionate about creating content? Are you more of a content marketer where creating content is really just a task or a job? You have a goal to reach, which is more visitors, more sales, whatever that is. But one of the things that I just wanted to come to grips with is just the overall stress of running a content creation wheel, as I like to say. Wheel being this big thing that you're pushing down the street of content creation, and it comes at the cost of all of these platforms that you're trying to publish to, and creating this message to reach an audience. You know, I think that for me, this is sort of an inflection point for me. It's 6 months into 2018. I believe back in January, I talked about being all in on YouTube because, oddly enough, just saw it as this re-emerging platform where just a lot of attention was being spilled. And quite frankly, I found myself not reading blogs as much, and just sort of this whole like gut feeling of watching my timeline on both Twitter and Facebook, and just the general ethos of my business marketing and local community of people just not sharing blogs as much. What I've seen since then is a lot of people had that approach. I think beginning of the new year, people are like, yeah, we're all in on YouTube, and we're gonna, buy camera equipment and start making all these videos and whatnot. I think what I'm seeing now halfway through the year is just a lot of people sort of coming out and saying, you know what, there's so much pressure to create content. There's so much work to be done in video. Even talking head videos like this just take a lot of effort. They take a lot of time. Might not look like it. And maybe to some people it's super easy. But for me, like, I don't have a dedicated, space. Like, this microphone's not here all the time. This camera's not right here all the time. I just have my light coming through my window right now. Sometimes I have lights set up. Some people have a dedicated space and they just sit down, hit record, and boom, you're off to the races. Like, you need to find what's super comfortable to work with every time you're about to go and hit that record button or publish button. Like, you have to be in a zone where you're not thinking about all of this stuff like I do, maybe even you. And maybe somewhere in that chaos, you're able to create content, and that's what works for you. It's what works for me. But what that leads me into is no schedule, no agenda, no time blocking, no time frame for creating this stuff. And that's been a big lesson for me too. Again, back to the stress of creation. A lot of people look at this stuff in today's world. If you were to think back, 5 years ago, let's say, SEO arguably still super important back then, or very important back then. I think probably the height of keyword research and content and text on a page and ranking first in Google and all this stuff before Google SERPs looked totally different like they do today. The emphasis on SEO was super great, and a lot of people were just like hyper focused on the technicalities of that. On YouTube specifically is, I got to put out a video every day. It has to be at least 10 minutes. It has to be edited amazingly. If you look at Casey Neistat with 368, which actually you saw him ramp up every single day, and then it sort of trickled out. There was a weekend he missed. He went on vacation with the family, and I don't have my phone on me, but I don't think I've seen a 368 video in maybe 5 days at the time that I'm recording this. So I think it happens even to the greats, right? The great content creators that are out there. Consistency is so difficult. And again, to use just another name that I use a million times, Gary Vee, he has a team of people. He recognized that years ago, that he needed a team of people to stay with him to make content consistently. And it wins for him, but man, at what a cost, right? What a cost it takes. Even Peter McKinnon, you see him now getting an editor, right? And he has a protege, this guy, Maddie, and now they have a studio together, and you can start to think about, my God, what does it take to create content today? And you get super stressed out. I know I do, right? I start to think about, how can I create content that people are going to watch, right? I'm just doing talking head videos. These guys are, traveling the world and climbing mountains and just doing amazing things with B-roll and cinematography, with arguably more budgets than I have, and certainly more time, which is uber crucial in all of this stuff, more time than I have to put together amazing videos. I'm not a cinematographer. I don't even, I'm still learning about f-stops and ISO on my camera, let alone being able to compete with some of the greats that are out there. So I went on a rant, but that's because, like, I'm trying to say, hey, I don't care about all this stuff anymore, right? I don't care about pressuring myself to put out content because I got a day job. I got kids. Yes, do I want to grow my audience? Absolutely. Do I feel like I'm still showing up on a good enough level? Yeah, I feel like I am. And I hope that the content that I'm putting out is useful to somebody. Which leads to the next thing. I really love to observe artists, real art, like traditional artists, music artists, celebrities, comedians, talk show hosts. And you look at the portfolio of content that they've put out over the years, it's easy to see somebody in the context, at the capacity that they're at today. But if you look at comedians, Jerry Seinfeld, Kevin Hart's, like the big names, you see them performing, at dive bars or working part-time jobs as a restaurant server, that kind of thing. And you're just like, wow, I know what you are today, but it took you a while to get here. And you also put out a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with putting out stuff that I think might suck, but I need to go through the routines, right? It was like blogging. When you think about trying to blog every day or every week, you have to, the whole writing process, part of it is losing 30-40% of the stuff you put out, if not more, right? 30-40% of the stuff you put out is crap. The other 40% might be, it's okay. 10% of it's good, and the other 10% of it might be great, whatever equals up to 100% right there. And I'm sort of coming to terms with not pressuring myself in time, not pressuring myself to put out what I consider to be amazing stuff. That doesn't mean you don't care about the work that you put out. Like, I will probably edit this video a little bit. I might adjust some things in the sound and the lighting and post-production. I'll try to make it sound and look a little bit better, but I'm not going to sweat the details considerably when I know I'm going to keep putting this stuff out. At some point there is a price to performance ratio, as I like to say in my day job, but there's an audience to quality ratio that I get at, right? Like, I have a super small audience right now. Am I going to sit here and agonize over details and lighting and camera angles and, the best audio? I have a fan in the background right now. I'm not blocking any of this sound that's reverbing off the walls. The lighting is kind of shitty, but it's okay. It's better than fill in the blank, right? So that's just another thing that I've learned over this, 6 months of creating video on YouTube, is I'm not going to be pressured by the algorithms that a lot of people are, kicking and screaming about. I get it, because a lot of people were super comfortable where they were at in YouTube, and now monetization's getting taken away, views are going down, the algorithm's screwing up with subscriptions and seeing people's content. I get it. I understand why people are angry. But YouTube was never my first platform. It was always my own blog. So pushing traffic and ranking was something that I came in, that's how I grew up, right? I guess in this, in the social media world, it's how I grew up. I grew up yelling at people to look at my site, never just saying, hey, YouTube, send me traffic. I'll put a couple keywords in, I'll put up the video, but send me traffic, give me money. That's foreign to me. And maybe if I would, not saying that people don't work for it on YouTube, not saying that at all, but I feel like we all have to come to grips that when we're on a platform, it is what it is, right? Sure, we can go kicking and screaming to them about algorithms and monetization and who runs ads and who doesn't run ads on our content. I get it, but we need to leverage the platforms the way they've leveraged us. So use the platforms to push your audience to your own site. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but that's what you have to do. That's why I love WordPress, because you own the content, you own the domain, you own the people coming there to your site, and you can monetize it how you see fit, connect with them how you see fit. That's how I see content creation for me moving forward. I'm just not going to let it stress me out like I see a lot of people looking to get stressed out about on YouTube and in creating videos. It's a lot of work. Everything's a lot of work. Let's all just sort of agree to that and really identify with who you are as a content creator. Pick the platform you want to focus on, de-stress yourself, and just focus on that. Focus on that one message, focus on that one platform that you can sit down, hit record, hit publish, and create content with without feeling this anxiety to build something, right? Focus on what's making you money. If it is YouTube, focus on it and get better and get rid of everything else that's sort of, humming around you. If it's something else, monetize that. I don't know what else to say other than don't get stressed out about creating content because it's just going to make the content worse. YouTube.com/The Matt Report. Hit subscribe. Like this video if you do. See you in the next video.